Hello, friend. Welcome to this episode. We are going to be talking about a topic that has been a lot on my heart lately. And I think because I've been in the online entrepreneur space for so long, this hit me really hard because my friends outside of the online entrepreneur space don't put such an emphasis on monetary amounts being tied to worth and value and celebration. I have had this thought lately of collecting better than money moments. And I'm going to talk about that today. While you may not be in the online entrepreneur space, I might expose a few things about that space here on this episode today, but I hope it just really helps you lighten the load when finances maybe seem heavy, when you may be in a season where there's a little money, or maybe you're making more money than you've ever made, but it's not bringing you the fulfillment of what you thought it would be. I'm just going to talk to you today about a lot of things, but the main thing I want you to start looking at through the lens is better than money moments. Welcome to the Living in Sync podcast, where we will talk about the biological blueprint of your cycle and how your hormones impact every area of your life. I'm your host, Joelle, certified nutritionist, mom of two, fitness coach for over a decade, and I want to help you better understand your cycle to work with your body in achieving your goals. I will teach you how to care for your body in a well-rounded and realistic way that caters to your season of life and feel freaking amazing. In every episode, you will get tips, takeaways, and just feel like this is a heart-to-heart chat with a friend. Let's roll into today's episode. What are better than money moments? I thought of this, really just came to my heart. Maybe I was even listening to something else that talked about it. I have literally no idea. But better than money moments are those moments that are so savory and special and significant. Maybe they're even insignificant moments that are just a treasure. And the reason why and how I've been tracking these is because I have had a really great evening routine for over the past year. I've done another episode on my current AM PM routines where I talk about it, but in the practice, it talked about writing down 3 wins from the day. Now, in 2023, it was a shift in my business where I was really tracking and allocating a lot of those wins, where it was signing a new monthly client or bringing in an additional income because of a project or calculating what my business revenue was. And I really found a lot of excitement in that. This practice came from the gap and the gain, and it really led to a pivotal year in 2023 for business. And at the end of 2023, I reread The Gap and the Gain, and I had a different set of lens on because they really talked about how even if you are not in a career or sales or something like that, and it's not necessarily an online entrepreneur and network marketing book, but our brain typically goes to counting those types of wins. But it had really great chapters on being in the gain instead of the gap as a mother and as a parent, and as your personal goals and your physical goals and various things like that, like living in the gain in other areas of life other than business. And that sparked a thought process in me of like, oh man, yeah, 2023 was all about stacking those business gains. And that was great. And that is awesome. And I still love those. And also, I needed to step out and see my life differently through the lens of my profession is not my only identity. My profession is not the only thing that gives me value and accolades and quote unquote worthiness or, makes me feel like special and significant. So I started counting these moments of better than money moments, different things, different instances. And also with this practice, it talked about being grateful. And I've been in the personal development space for many, many years, and the gratitude and writing gratitude just got stale for me. So while this is the same thing, it's a gratitude of really miraculous moments or special moments from the day. I had to spice it up a little bit. And honestly, I just rebranded it and started calling it the better than money moments. And I would write down situations with conversations my kids and I had, or times where I kept my cool, or creating a really amazing and fantastic meal, or feeling really accomplished by taking care of our home, or being there for a friend. Just those micro moments, some big, some small, that are so special and unique to life. So while, yes, this is the same thing as collecting wins, like with the gap and the gain talks about, this is also very similar and the same as accounting and being grateful for very special and specific moments in your day-to-day. I had to rewire it and like rebrand it in my brain of better than money moments, because subconsciously and consciously, I started making money the monumental thing in my life. And I think that stems from being in network marketing in my early 20s and the wave of the girl boss era, as I like to call it. And with online entrepreneurship, a lot of times the marketing that is effective, it's sad, but it's true. And I don't necessarily love it or like to do it. Have I done it? Yes. Will I do it in the future? I don't know if it feels relevant or whatnot, but the showing what somebody has made or what I make makes people really be like, oh, that's then legit, right? I remember one of the first times I made my like example income of what got deposited into my bank account from my MLM. And then all of a sudden it was like people were interested, and I had been sharing years and years and years and years and years of what I was doing, maybe like 3 years of sharing what I was doing. But it wasn't until I was like, oh, I shared my highest paycheck, people were like, oh, this must be legit now. Tell me more about this. And I'm like, I've been doing this for so long and now you're finally interested. But because it generated momentum and like applause on social media and with business growth, I was like, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. And as you keep sharing that, it keeps growing. It's like more and more are attracted. And while this isn't about that, but I will say it was attracting the wrong people it was attracting people coming in for the wrong reasons. I can see that with hindsight now, but it really did make me feel like, wow, the more money I make, the cooler I am. The more money I make, this is showing I'm doing a really great job. The more money I make is making me feel more significant. The more money I make is da 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 da. And being straight up honest with you guys, because of things out of my control, some within my control, but some of the things out of my control, like compensation plan changes and people and leaders within my team changing directions themselves. Like I was seeing dips in income, and I was making those dips mean I suck, I'm terrible, I'm awful, like this, I'm not doing a good job. How embarrassing for me, right? Because I should always be sharing like da 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 da. And in the online entrepreneur space, I want to remind you of a few things, because there's a lot of talk about passive income. None of it's passive. Even the people who are posting on social media being like, I posted and then I made this much, like they've done work up until that time and space, like creating content, thinking about their content, being on their phone, building an audience, creating content for their audience, connecting with their audience. None of it was passive. Some of them have to set up their courses. Some of them have to place and plug things for how they're going to process orders. And then how is that system going to be emailed and produced for that person? None of it necessarily is passive income. I'm just going to say that. It's all had some sort of touch, finesse, and work put into it, period. The other thing is like when online entrepreneurs are sharing, I make X amount. The way that has like struck my heart with the hindsight of I've now gotten to know CEOs, business owners that own brick and mortar companies that employ many, many, many people, that have many, many, many branches. And I'm like, this woman is a baller. Like, she is absolutely amazing. But she's not walking around on the internet being like, I generated this much, we did this much as a company and organization. Well, some of those things and metrics are known if they're a public company, or they are known through the culture of the business operations, maybe, if that gets discussed and shared, I don't know. But it's like, she's not out with a megaphone talking about how much she's making or her revenue in order for people to pay attention. And what gets people to pay attention is her kindness, her value, her heart, her just like demeanor. And it's been a wild experience for me to kind of see the offline space versus the online space. And with that, like, even online entrepreneurs have costs that they have to consider. And I saw this a lot with the MRR, the master resale rights craze that went around, is people being like, I bought this course and then they sold this course and now I make $15,000. Well, just like back when in the early days of network marketing, was sharing my income because it was not regulated at the time. Guess what? A couple years later, big regulations were put in place. And I was even getting, a lot of us, not just me, but a lot of us were getting messages from our compliance team about, this was 2018, and I had to go remove a post from 2014 because it was not in compliance with how things were in 2018. Crazy. Well, the coaching industry, the online space industry is not regulated. So there is no monitoring of what people are telling you and how truthful they are. I will say, I work with and I know some of the top people that are top-notch, tried and true, real and honest, and they're legit. Like, they will tell you all of the things straight up, but not everybody online will. And especially with the MRR wave we saw in 2013, which I did not feel good about that from the get-go. I saw people being like, oh, I made 20K in this many days because of MRR, passive income. And I want you to understand, when people say that, as any income that comes in, you need to pay taxes on it. They're maybe paying for their hosting platform for their course. They're paying for their operations. So if you're using a payment processor, the payment processor takes a little bit of that cut. Have they not made any money for the last 4 or 5 months and then they made 20K in that 1 week? Like, what's really going on behind the scenes? You don't know. How much is that actually profiting to put in their pocket for their lifestyle and their family? Are they paying for their own health insurance? Because I know back in the day, like 2015, 2016, Sean and I were on self-employed health insurance, and it was just the two of us and a new baby. And whoa, were we playing up the wazoo, and paying for that out of pocket did take a cut out of what was going into our pocket, which, as an entrepreneur, it's just really one of those things where you have to evaluate what comes with the territory, and is that okay with you? Like, 100%. I know so many women that are making so much money in their online business. They're absolutely amazing. They're crushing it. They create things that are so incredibly profound and impactful, right? But they aren't talking about, but I didn't mean to say that, but they understand the cost that comes with being an entrepreneur, and they're like, that still feels 100% aligned for me. Like, some entrepreneurs love the fact that they're like they often can work when they want, and sometimes when they want is late at night or in the evenings or on the weekends, where some people are like, I want to not even look at a computer screen on the weekends. Both are okay. One is not better than the other. It's just what is best for you. That's a side rant, but back to the better than money moments. I now understand why I was magnetizing and making the most important thing about the money I was making, the money I was bringing in, the money that my business is generating. And while my business growth is happening significantly and going up and up and up, right now I am still wanting to keep my eyes so focused on things that matter more than money, because there are so many things in our life that matter more than money. There's so many things that are in our life that are going to make a significant impact in the lives than money. And an example of this was a conversation I was having with my friend about, family values and family examples. It was a conversation about how what matters more than money to me is I am showing my kids a healthy relationship with my husband. I'm showing my kids a healthy relationship with alcohol, and especially with the conversation of dry January going on right now. I am so grateful for my healthy relationship with alcohol. I do not drink very much at all. I do not need alcohol to have fun. If I want to have a drink of alcohol, I have a drink. And if I don't want any more, I don't. If it feels like other people are pressuring me to consume more alcohol or drink alcohol when I don't want to, I don't. That is one area in my life where I'm like, no, I am in control of this. This is not in control of me. And to me, that is something that matters more than money. I don't care if I left my kids millions of dollars after I pass, but I really feel proud of the fact that there's something like that I am showing them. And I will just, like, my kids will probably be like, God, why does mom talk about this so much? And one day I hope they understand why that is so important to me. But it's been on my heart to think about this. And I hope it just really opens up to your money mindset, because there are a lot of times where we think, more money is going to take away XYZ. So you're not going to struggle with this anymore. You're not going to feel a certain way anymore if there was more money coming in. And sometimes you get to that place and you're like, more money came in, but like, I'm still feeling the same. So if anything, maybe just reflect on what is your relationship like with money. And it was really hard for me to like full out admit, like, wow, I had it on a pedestal like crazy. And I'm not going the other direction of being like, money is the root of all evil. While that is a spark of a Bible verse, it is not the whole context of what's going on in that verse, right? And if you're a member of Patreon and you're in the Bible studies, you know that context is so key in understanding biblical principles, okay? And that gets taken out of context all the time. So I'm not going to sit and be like, money's evil, money's terrible. Like, we're going to just think money's the worst. Like, money is a resource, neutral, period. More money, more resourced, just in that financial aspect. There's neutrality around it. I didn't go from money on a pedestal to the other direction of money hatred. I went to neutrality. Like, if there's more, there's more. If there's less, there's less. We'll work through it. We'll navigate it. And we have. So think about your own money mindset. Make sure that if you were like me and you're making money mean more than what it means, check yourself on that. Check yourself on why. And then you can start living in the gap and the gain of collecting. And I still will write down, like, hey, I will still write down monetary moments that are like, ooh, that was a win, right? But I'm writing down more moments that matter more than money. If you enjoyed this episode, if you got an aha from it, please let me know. Come converse with me on Instagram, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you loved what you heard or you want to share your favorite episode topics, please leave a rating and review. This helps the podcast growth and gives people an idea of what the podcast is all about. Something new and exciting that I wanted to share with you before we go is that we now have a Patreon page. This has replaced the Feminine Edge collective community in a cohesive place that is easier for me to manage and cheaper for you. If you are interested in our monthly classes, exclusive day in the life vlogs, Bible studies, community Q&A, and more, go to patreon.com/livingInSync and join for just $5 a month. Check out the show notes for any links or details of things referenced in today's episode, and I look forward to chatting with you in the next one.